Hey there folks, rinimt here, and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV. In the last part we got the esthetician, we got the challenge log, and we unlocked Tam-Tara Deepcroft also to the leveling, but more importantly we got Tam-Tara Deepcroft, so let's go ahead and queue that up. Of course, I'm not exactly in a place to go do side quests right now, awkwardly. So I guess this will be the first queue we're gonna have to edit out, right? Isn't it? Okay, so it only took having to get a healer. Oh my gosh, that was a little silly. Get the healer, instant queue. So welcome to Tam-Tara. This is our second Tam-Tara Deepcroft. Sorry, I always call it Tam-Tara. This is our second dungeon. This one is a fair bit more straightforward than Sastasha was. There's a few side rooms, but they're really not anything to actually mention. So the main thing we're going to have to be doing here is we need to disable all these different orbs so we can get to the final platform boss. So, looks like we have a newer tank, possibly? Okay. So, pulls this time around might be a little bit slower. Let's see if I can still do just as well at remembering twin snakes exist. Probably. There's a really good chance. And, oh my gosh, I just got 1300 experience for that kill. Okay. So yeah, pulls are going to be slower since, you have a newer tank instead of, you know, someone who's level 80. Since Flan Kitty came in on healer, since note the fact had to get a healer in order to make this actually come up. But alas, it shall be what it shall be. So yeah, like I said, this place is pretty straightforward comparatively. Like, just pretty basic things, sadly. No, there aren't any shrews, guys. I'm sorry, there's no shrews. There will be some side rooms. You can already kind of see one that has come up here on the map. Oh, now the tank's like, I'm gonna go on ahead. I'm like, okay. So yeah, you can see one over here. That room is completely optional. I honestly don't really remember what's in that room. It's been literally years since I've gone into any of these side rooms. So, but I do remember, like, in comparison to, say, Sastasha, there just really isn't much to note on them. Oh, looks like we may be getting to experience them after all, folks. We're just following the tank here. Yeah, looks like there's just not much in here, just a little well, I guess. But yeah, you have to remember that this is like a burial ground of sorts, so... So one of the biggest things, really, for tanks to kind of keep in mind here is that tanks do want to make sure they're keeping in mind where they're, like, placing their enemies that they're holding. They don't, like, if they have, say, melee like me and the Lancers in the party, they don't really want to keep the back of the enemy on, like, a wall, because then it just makes it much harder for the melee to do damage. This applies to every melee eventually, just because they do eventually all get some form of thing that will be considered a positional. So definitely something that tanks really need to make sure they are keeping in mind as they go about tanking stuff. Of course, you know, stuff that doesn't specifically have, like, a positional to it, then it's like, whatever, they can hold it wherever, and typically those things you can't really move around anyways. So we've got a little mini boss here. This is like previously in Sastasha, where we had like the coral and such, this is what you could consider the same sort of thing. So we've got to take care of these imps, and then this priest, and then our main enemy is going to appear after that, which is this Void Soul Counter. He put on a buff on himself called In Thunder, which means that anytime he hits the tank, it's going to do a little bit of extra damage due to that. But pretty basic. I do believe it has a front conal attack. Yep, just like this. Let's go ahead and stun that for them. You know, they did get out of it. And then they also tried to stun it. But, yeah, so that's the main thing to really watch out for on those guys, is that particular move. So, once you use the Cult Sword, we'll be able to progress forward, and we don't need those. And we already have a pair, and since they're unique, we cannot actually get them, so we're going to have to go ahead and pass on them. So, moving on to section 2, we can actually already see our the end section of part 2 here. We could see the end section of part 1 just right up there, but I didn't really look at it. Yeah, so it's going to be basically the same exact thing we just already did. Just some of the gravediggers, a priest, and then a demon. So this particular set of enemies right here is actually, like, back in the day, it caused a lot of issues for people. Like, I would see so many people just have issues just staying alive on this because you have that wandering enemy back there. It would just come in and the tank would miss it or something and go after the healer, and, well, we've learned what it means to have it go after the healer. It's really bad to have something go after the healer. So, once again, there is actually a side room. You can see it on the map here. It's pretty much the same exact thing, I'm pretty sure. And it does look like the tank is going to be going for that. And we're now level 25. Oh my gosh, seriously? Yeah, alright. This one does have a treasure chest in it. So, yeah, just another little gravesite area. Well, I appear to be now holding the enemy. Ah, shoot. Let's, I'd say hold back a little bit, but then things won't die. So let's crack open that. And we get a plundered plate belt, which is for tanks. However, you know, we can't wear it. So let's just go ahead and hit greed on it. It is a unique piece. I think we picked this up. I think I picked this up on my main character, actually. Oh, we got a treasure coffer up here as well, but this is, of course, a required room. We've got 3 enemies in here as well. But yeah, I think I picked that up on my main character. I just didn't really look at it then. But it doesn't matter because I didn't actually win the roll on it. So, think of how I'm doing here. Still getting used to actually doing this and, well, you know, talking at the same time. So we get a Foe Striker's Tabard, which is a body piece for, you know, people like me. However, we do already have a better piece. And I lost the roll again! Oh my gosh, that one wasn't nearly by as much. So yeah, this is going to be the same exact thing as we had on the first little boss. Just a few enemies. And then the demon. And there we go. No twin snakes again. I really don't have much interesting to really say about this one. This is definitely a more relaxed pace dungeon go because, you know, we're doing the slower pulls, like I mentioned, that some tanks do, especially if they're, say, newer to that particular dungeon. Or if they're just, in general, like, newer to the game and such. And it's definitely doing the big pulls like we had going on in Sastasha is, for like, just definitely a, thing in terms of your more end-game people doing. So let's go ahead and actually use this cultist orb. Let's see what we got. We got a cavalier's hat, which is for mages, and we also got some plundered earrings, which are also for mages. So nothing for us, which is not really that surprising. And anyways, earrings, we don't want to replace this earring we have. We got them both anyway. We don't really want to replace this earring we have because it is really good until level 70. Like, it's insanely good until level 70, actually. So, yeah, you can once again see our next destination over there. It's a little bit more complicated this time around, though. As you'll notice on the right, so the right is actually where we find out, I didn't really mention this before, but the right is where you find out, like, all your stuff in terms of, like, your dungeon, just like you would find out for your information for your quests. And you can see, like, your progress in that particular dungeon over there. So you can see we need to pick up a thing called Cultist Rosary. This is what we're going to need to get through this next section. Oh, and I was getting 1300 before. Now I'm only getting 1,000 experience per kill. So when they did get rid of the chain experience in dungeons, they actually just like massively increased the amount of experience you get in general from enemies. So not only do we now have the whole thing with like you get experience at the end for the first time you clear, which is even more recent, but you also just get a lot of experience per kill on enemies. So it's just kind of a combination of quite a few different things going on here. Now, I appear to have made a friend. Oh, and here we go. What I mean with in terms of having the back of the enemy in the wall. This is very difficult to try and get. I don't actually know. It might be going off. And once again, we've got an optional room. This is the last optional room in Tam-Tara. Another chest in it, just a couple of enemies. Nothing really huge. That's why I'm like, was mentioning the optional rooms in here. I think I mentioned it anyway. Maybe I just typed it. I don't know. But the optional rooms in here just really aren't that much to write home about. Just kind of dull. What's in the chest? We get Lancer's arm and a bandana for your more dexterous classes, so like your archers and your rogues. That's who that would be for. Not so much us, because dexterity doesn't really do much for us. We're wanting that strength. I'm just waiting for the tank to go on and continue pulling the dungeon. Oh my gosh. So, let's just say, in general, tanks, you don't really want to be sitting around like that because, A, you'll probably just end up, like, kind of annoying the rest of your party by just taking so long to go between the different poles, but you're just slowing down 3 other people and just making them also take longer in the particular thing. So yeah, we'll see that there is a lock wall. These purple glowing means that that's what locks behind us. However, we do have to deal with the sealed barrier, which is where that cultist rosary comes in. We do also still need 2 cultist orbs, and we're at the end of the dungeon. At least physically at the end. We still do have a little bit to go here. What? Not an overly high amount. Yeah, as I was saying, like for tanks, you do really just want to keep the pulls going. And I think that's a big reason why the whole like pull large groups of enemies and then kill them from there is just it's become such a thing, as it just does help you get through stuff faster, because getting those area attacks on those groups overall does speed up everything. As long as you have the right damage for it and you've got the right healing for it. And as long as you're, you know, capable of properly tanking it. Because there's definitely some times where I've had tanks where they just were behind a bit on their gear, and you could tell because they were just taking a lot of damage and such. We've got 2 enemies left here, and there's our rosary that we need to pick up, which is the key to that sealed barrier. So, looks like they're gonna go ahead and pick that up, so let's just head on back to where that barrier was. Now, if I remember right, I think the enemies will start smacking in faces as soon as this barrier is brought down, because you'll usually be close enough. So, I'm gonna step back a little bit. No, no, no. Just once you walk into the room, you just happen to be close enough then. It's fine, the Gravediggers are just generally, they don't have a lot of health on them. So they do go down pretty easily. They're definitely in that camp of, these are your weaker enemies, you want to take care of them first, because they'll just be nuisances if you leave them up. Now, looks like the others kind of took care of everything else while I was talking about taking care of the nuisances before you take care of everything else. So, our last 2 orbs are here, and you can see the final boss platform ahead of us. I apologize, like, I didn't expect this dungeon to take longer, but, so I kind of blew my load on everything to talk about early on. So let's go ahead and use this cultist orb here, and that cultist orb. No, looks like Flying Kitty's got it. Alright. We have the final boss of Tam-Tara Deepcroft. Who summons me from the void to reside within this crude vessel? I haven't seen these scenes in so long, I honestly forgot they said anything in them. So it looks like we got another tank piece of equipment there. And I got it, so hooray. Okay, so this is Galbump the Dominator. He's gonna have a few more things that we actually have to care about comparatively to the Sastasha boss. You'll see he's casting some spells on the tank. That's gonna be his main form of attacking. However, once you see this purple line come up, that means he is invincible, and you need to take care of the ads that have appeared. Now, you don't really want the tank actually dragging him around too much, just because I think he could start, like, doing some bad stuff, maybe? But, generally, we just want to keep an eye out for it, because now, not only are we going to have the purple line enemy that's making the boss immune or invincible, we also have some other regular enemies that have appeared, some extra ads. So let's go ahead and take those out and then go back to fighting this guy. So once he hits 50 HP, you do want to keep an eye out for a particular attack, namely that one. Let's get out of it. If you get hit by it, it's a pretty decent amount of damage, and it also does a paralyze effect. So you really don't want to be getting hit by that, because that just sounds bad. So now we have our last set of enemies with 2 purple lines going on here. So typically what you want is each DPS goes for a different one, or the healer goes for one as well. Or apparently I go for all of them. I noticed that the Lancer there was doing a ranged attack. That's really not great damage compared to them just actually running up and hitting it physically. So now that we're at this point, almost we're not going to get the 2 bars, so let's go ahead and just use our limit break on this guy, which will finish him off, and we're going to hit level 26. I kind of knew we would. And that finishes up Tam-Tara Deepcroft. But yeah, so that range attack on Lancer, it's kind of just not really that great. So we got a bonus of 45,000 experience. I think that's what actually got us to level 26. So we got a Plundered Blade Belt again, and a Plundered Battle Axe, which is for Marauders. So let's go ahead and just greed on both of those. Hopefully the others also roll on them, so we can head on out and continue on with the story, because, well, we're kind of out of side stuff to do. And there's one. See if we can get the other one. Yeah, or we'll sit here forever. Ah, there it goes. Let's go ahead and leave the duty. I got a player commendation, I guess. Let's see what happens now. Nope, we're just gonna be keep right out, so let's go ahead and head on back to Gridania. Oh. Hello again. Welcome back, Arya, and I'm reliably informed that your foray into the Deepcroft was a success. Nor did I expect anything less. Batteron's ringing endorsement left me in little doubt as to your capabilities. Even so, you are to be commended. But Lord Lewin asked me to pass on his thanks. I must say, it's something of a relief to be able to call upon such a capable adventurer. Sadly, death has become an ever more common occurrence within our fraternity of late. Times being what they are, the guild is constantly inundated with petitions, and we are hard-pressed to find enough hands to deal with them all. Well, this means no shortage of work for able souls such as yourself. It also provides ample opportunity for the inexperienced to overreach themselves with predictable consequences. As if to illustrate the point. Avir's gone, and it's all your fault. If it hadn't taken you an age to heal him, he would still be alive. I tried. He pulled it out of range before I could finish the spell. He shouldn't have been so hard-pressed in the first place. We should have done more to lighten its burden. To hell with this pathetic excuse for a party. I'm leaving, and it'd be too soon if I never see your faces again. Goodbye and good riddance. I'm leaving as well. I doubt this comes as any surprise, but I never liked you. I only suffered you for your healing, and you couldn't even do that one thing right. Cruel though this may sound, you brought this upon yourself. Oh, and by way of somewhat parting advice, get rid of Avira's head, bury it, cremate it, do whatever the hell you like with it. But for God's sake, stop carrying it around. It's just get rid of it, alright? Wait, don't leave me alone, please. I'm sorry, Avira. Please forgive me. Scenes like this have become all too common. That makes a dozen times in half as many days. I see why I'm grateful for adventures of your experience. I can send women like you on a mission without worrying that you might not return. Well, not as much at any rate. Speaking of missions, I would entrust you with another. About a bell ago, I received a message from my counterpart in Ulta. She seeks the services of a reliable adventurer, and you are nothing if not reliable. She also already knows me. You think you might be interested in this task? Stay the word, and I will be glad to share the details with you. Okay. But yeah, she already knows me. Like, what the heck? Hey. Welcome to the Carline Canopy, a place of respite for adventurers like yourself. It is an honor indeed to receive visitors from afar at the I think I talked too soon before the quest was actually here. Call of the Desert. So, you're not averse to taking a little trip? Wonderful. As I mentioned earlier, the request comes from the Adventurers Guild in Ulda. Once you arrive, seek out Mamodi, the proprietress of the quicksand. Think of her as the sultaness version of myself. Chances are she'll send you into the midst of danger, but I have every confidence that you will pull through unscathed. Now off you go, Arya, and good luck. Yeah, she already knows me. Let's just double check here. Alright, let's head on back to Ulda. I guess I don't need to teleport, I can just hit return. And while we're there, we can also go ahead and do the next Pugilist quest. Hi again, Momodi. I'm back. Welcome to the Quicksand, friend. I'm a tad busy right now. If you wouldn't mind showing yourself. Oh, it's you, Arya, and there I was, spelling the same tired line. Mion sent word that you'd be reporting for duty. She also made a point of calling you the adventurer of the moment. Ain't no small praise coming from her. But you didn't come all this way to hear. You come all the way here to listen to my prattle. Doubtless you're eager to get started, so let's talk business, shall we? Alright. Into a copper hell. The petitioner ought to be arriving any moment now. God's almighty, another second under that sun that would have been set afire. Tinker the veil if you'd be so kind. Excellent timing, Papa Sean. It just so happens the adventurer will be handling your petition is here. Oh, why if it isn't my good friend Arya? Does my spirit well to know that you are the one who will be helping us? Mayhap you'd like to appraise Arya of her mission? Yes, of course. The petition in question was submitted by an acquaintance of mine at Amagina and Sons Mineral Concern. At least an unfortunate development at Copperbell Mines. To be plain, giants have seized control of the place. These giants are of the clan known as Hecaton Shares, fearsome creatures who were sealed within the deepest depths of the mine during the bygone Thorn Dynasty. Alas, it seems they have managed to break through the layer of rock which served to imprison them, and now prowl the tunnels where the miners ply their trade. The creatures are justifiably angry about their treatment at the hands of our ancestors, and their presence has forced the suspension of all mining activities on the site. It's no wonder they're angry. Didn't the Thorn Dynasty come to an end over 300 years ago? You know your history well, milady. The people of that age used the Hecaton Shares to work their mines. By way of enchanted helms, they were able to bind the ferocious creatures to their will. But as is oft the way in such tales, these enchantments eventually failed, and the slaves rose up against their masters. In a desperate bid to contain the unbridled fury of the Hecaton Shares, our ancestors had induced the collapse of the mine's lowermost levels. So it was that the great giant revolt was ended, buried beneath 100,000 tons of rock. Well now, that's got me thinking. I seem to recall there being an article about Copperbell in the Mithril Eye a fortnight or so ago. So the mines were being reopened as to meet the rising demand of building materials. Like as not, our boys dug a bit too deep and freed the giants. Gosh, to think the poor creatures are still alive and kicking after 3 centuries. That's a long time to nurse a grudge. They must be seething. Indeed, and that makes them a danger to us all. There will be no mining at Copperbell so long as they remain. For sake of both peace and prosperity, they must be subdued. This is a task with which... This is the task... Take 3. This is the task which we would have you undertake. I'll not deny that the mission will be rife with danger, but our need is great. And so I beg you, put an end to the sorry business. Sure. God's bless you. I feared you might have reservations, but I assure you it is for the best. In case you don't know, Copperbell Mines are in Western Thanalan. Do take care, you hear? Yeah, I've literally already been sent there. And one last thing before you depart. An employee of Amagina & Sons is presently at the Quicksand. The fellow's name is Painted Mesa, and he knows Copperbell Mines well. It may behoove you to seek his counsel. Okay, let's go ahead and find Painted Mesa, who's literally right behind us. Look for Painted Mesa. Found him. So you're the adventurer who's volunteered to deal with the mess down in Copperbell, are you? You've got guts, miss. I just hope you've got skills to go with them, because things ain't pretty down there. The Hecaton Shares left the place in the right state nary a week after mining resumed. I don't know if you know this, but Copperbell was old when the second Old Dynasty was still young, and it was abandoned centuries ago. If it hadn't been for the shortage of materials needed for the rebuilding effort, the concern would never have thought to reopen it. We knew full well about the giants beforehand, but the project went ahead anyway. I mean, nothing could possibly survive being buried under a mountain's worth of rock for 3 centuries, right? Wrong. Our miners dug up more than they bargained for. One swing of the pickaxe too many, and they found themselves in the company of giants. Unless we can subdue them, the nation's glorious recovery will grind to a halt for want of aught to build with. The stone torches are keeping watch over the entrance in case the giants fancy some sunlight and fresh air. One of them will be able to show you the way in. The hope of the nation's resting on you. Best of luck. Gee. Alright, so we are already heading off to our next dungeon. This time without about 1,000 side quests in the way. We do have a role or a class quest to do, however. Our level 25 pugilist one is now available. And which one is this? What happened to you? Okay, sure. Let's go ahead and grab this one. Be careful with those. Break anything, shall be forced to deduct it from your salary. Beg pardon? What is my loyal manservant carrying? Why, a not so small fortune and prizes ably won by yours truly in the gold saucer. You have heard of the gold saucer? Nay, you cads, woman. You might at least try to keep up with the times. It's only Sultan's newest and finest place of entertainment. Thrilled to decide majestic birds roaring down the streets at the chocobo races. Pit your wits against your peers at the triple triad tables. At the gold saucer, one can do all this and more. And if you know what you're about, you'll walk out a wealthier woman than you entered. If there's a better place to shake off one's cares after a grueling day of promenading, I've never heard of it. Did I mention the prizes? Ah, but I dare say you'd rather discover them for yourself. Yes, I'll wager you're wondering just how in Thal's good name you can experience the wonders of gold saucer firsthand. Am I right? Or am I right? Ha, I thought as much. Well, since this has been my lucky day, I don't see why it shouldn't be yours too. I just so happen to have a spare golden airship ticket, you see. Consider the gift from me to you, my lady. Just show the ticket to the fine lady over at the landing. You'll have a seat on the next airship bound for revelry and riches. Be fair warned, though. You may expect no mercy from me should our paths cross at the triple triad tables. Nay, not so much as a nonce. So, we can now technically access the gold saucer, which is just a big entertainment place, much like it is in Final Fantasy VII. And there's just a ton of mini games there. I will probably just do like a specific episode just to kind of show it off, because there's just a bunch of different things, and even some of the events just kind of change as they update the game. They just kind of rotate around. But anyways, hello Hammond. I am here to pick up some maybe better gear. I swear, each time I see you, you remind me more and more of my younger self. At this rate, you're like to transform into a handsome devil before the moon's over. Now then, I believe you're here to learn. Unfortunately, I'm in no condition to teach. This is rather embarrassing to admit, but in my eagerness to prepare for the big rematch, I've overtrained and thrown my back out. Ugh, I tell you, old age is hells. I fear Chichudo will have to tend to you in my stead. How convenient. He threw out his back. It seems the prospect of facing his old rival has lit a veritable fire under Master Hammond's backside. I'm so relieved to see that he has a purpose again. The trick now is to keep a lid on his zeal lest he injure himself. But let's speak of your lesson. When you are ready, come and meet me at Little Alamigo. I have a challenge in mind that you are certain to find stimulating. So, once again, we're being thrown off to a place we're nowhere near in the story. So before we head there, let's go ahead and head to the Aetherites. We can head to the airship landing. I am ignoring that quest. It is an event quest, but you know what? We're going to the gold saucer anyway, and this takes us to the gold saucer. Let's grab it. Screw it. Complete game changer. This quest is available for a limited time only. How could I have lost? My strategy was foolproof. Listen, friend, if you have an inclination toward that Lord of the Million game at the Gold Saucer, I'd say you best think twice. It's been a fortune on my critters and had scores of victories to boast. Then some newcomer waltzed up and challenged me. I knew there was something strange about him. Ah-rah, with a vibrant hue, glint in his eye, calling himself the Monodering Executive or some such. Still, I'm not one to turn down a match, not Mr. Veteran. Hells, I even gave him a head start. The minions he used, they weren't like any I've ever seen before. They were demons, I tell you. I accused him of cheating. He said he had petitioned the Gold Saucer to use them in battle. And the little buggers were approved. Needless to say, my beloved team was torn to shreds every time. Seems like anything qualifies these days. I've completely lost my appetite for the game, but if you're curious about these so-called minions, You should head over to the Gold Saucer and take a look yourself. He was still loitering around there when I left. That blank stare tells me you have no idea what I've been rambling on about. I give you a ticket if I have a spare. My well-heeled brother tends to flaunt his winnings around here, and he usually has more than a few on hand. See if he can help you out. I guess it's kind of a, oh, you've never been there before line. Except we had already grabbed the thing to go there. So these become available once you can actually access it, which is after you've gone to all the 3 city-states the first time. So we want to go to the airship landing and make our way to the Gold Saucer. Okay, so for the most part, I'm going to just do a special thing to show off the Gold Saucer, but for now, I'm not really going to do much there. It's reception desk for flights bound for the Manderville Gold Saucer. Before proceeding, I must ask you if you submit your ticket for inspection. You do have a ticket, yes? Of course. Appears everything is in order, and airship will be departing shortly before the next bell. Shall I reserve a seat for you? Let us go to the Gold Saucer. Welcome to the Gold Saucer. This was added halfway through Realm Reborn, I believe. I think. Before Heaven's Word came out. I don't remember when it was added, but it's been available for a while and now we have access to it. And now we have also got a new entry in our challenge log, which is specific to the Gold Saucer. Fortunately, this is about as bad as Limsa, at least at the moment, in terms of loading. Oh, we have a quest to pick up once it loads. Of Wonders. So we can get some rewards for some free plays. Welcome, honored guests, to the Manderville Gold Saucer, where your wildest dreams are ever but a card or chocobo's bake away from coming true. If this is your first visit, nothing would please us more than to give you a full tour of our establishment that you might enjoy its wonders to the fullest. At the conclusion of the tour is our custom to offer our esteemed patrons a complimentary gift straight from the vaults of our illustrious proprietor himself. Consider Lord Manderville's way of personally thanking you for your patronage. Should you wish to take the tour, pray proceed to the main counter over there and speak with the receptionist. On behalf of the management, may I take this opportunity to thank you for choosing the Gold Saucer. Rest assured, my colleagues and I will spare no effort in seeing that your visit is a pleasant and profitable one. May fortune smile upon you. So, yeah, I'm gonna do all this when I do the special gold saucer bit. But for now, I actually just want to go ahead and talk to this guy, the Wandering Executive. Can I help you? Oh, I suppose word has gone around about this little fellow. I would be delighted to tell you more about him, truly, but I'm afraid I'm preoccupied at the moment. Maybe for someone who is unreasonably late. Wait, now that I think about it, you're an adventurer, aren't you? Alternatively, I may have a proposition for you. Help me out, I will tell you more about my feline friend here. Do you accept? Sure. The deal is struck. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm a tradesman come from far and beyond the borders of Eorzea. Though I am a slave to Wanderlust, I occasionally return to my homeland where I manage a sizable company that deals in eccentric commodities. Thus the locals call me the Wandering Executive, and I wear the title with pride. I am often accompanied by an erudite traveling companion, but he appears to have gotten quite lost on his journey. We were strolling in the twilight of the Black Shroud when he grew excited and scampered off to do some sightseeing of his own. He is aware I had some affairs to take care of here, so I thought to let him enjoy himself while I finished with my task and stayed in one spot. But he hasn't shown up in hours. Perhaps you could ask around Ben Branch for me and find out what's keeping him. Oh, I almost forgot to mention, my friend is not of my tribe. He's a rotund little soul, white as snow, and floats through the air like a cloud. If the clouds could speak, I would hope they wouldn't be as long-winded as he is. Alright. We have so many quests to do here. Like, oh my goodness. So I'm gonna go ahead and just make sure we've got this aetheryte. We do not, so let's go ahead and grab it, and I will just... Then I'm just gonna go ahead and go back to doing the main story stuff, because the pageless quest is annoying to get to, and right now for me, and I want to go get to Copperbell. So let's go ahead and do that. So you'll likely remember where this was. However, you also knows that we need to take care of some bombs for our hunting log, and also with hitting level 26, we actually got our first area of attack move. Fortunately, we can't really make much use of it yet because, well, something about the fact we're about to go into a level 17 dungeon, something along those lines. Yeah, can't really use it there, unfortunately. I need to find 2 more of these bombs, and then I will go ahead and talk to Stone Torch. And luckily, there are 2 right here. Also, yes, my Fist of Earth is off again. I really don't care that it is. Alright, and that gets all those bombs, and we get 2300 experience, and hello. There's been an incident inside Copperbell Mines. We are here to ensure that its effects are contained, but for your own safety, I suggest you stay well away from here. What? You're the adventurers volunteer to quell the Hecaton shares? I didn't think the Papashan would be able to find someone so quickly, if at all. The giants are content to wreak havoc inside the mines for now, but it's only a matter of time before they think to come outside. The sooner you see to them, the better. Make ready as best you can and enter at will. Copperbell Mines are now accessible. And that opens up our 3rd dungeon. But I think first, I'm gonna go ahead and do these, guild tests that we have available. Just let me mention that so that my traveling companion is aware. Alright, all's well that ends in the well. Oh, don't tell me here we go again. Alright, since we are apparently waiting for this, let's go ahead and work on that one quest, since we actually have something we can work on. That sounds like a Moogle, sure enough, quiet as a mouse when they're hiding, but once they reveal themselves, they never stop chattering. The one I saw a few nights ago was hundreds of yalms away, and I could still hear his voice. I was peering off in the distance between the boughs of the trees when I sighted a well-dressed all-raw traveler with fiery violet hair and a Moogle flying beside him. It was a strange sight if I do say so myself. Okay. Okay, let's talk to this one, the one that was all yelling at us before. Haven't seen anything like that, but it seems too coincidental that there was talk in Gridania recently about an unnatural being that was disturbing the elementals. I thought I was going to say elements, and that's what it blew. The Podgels were saying they've never seen a spirit like it, and feared it would taint the 12s with Seed Zero Pesci, see all the way near the Guardian Tree. Well, I think we might know where it is. What do you have to say for yourself? Round, white, and flows through the air? Are you sure it's a person? Because I'd say you're searching for one of the Muggles. In any case, you'd be out of luck since they only appear when they want to be seen. Well, let's investigate the area near the Guardian Tree. Which means we have to walk all the way over there. And we've never been there before, so we're going for a trip. That's for certain. So we don't want to go up those steps there. We want to take this path through on the lower ground. You can see some Kakirin over there. And those darn slugs. Darn slugs. Seriously. That's my armpits in them. Ugh. Ugh. This is where I'm really back to wishing. Have a dang mount. But it looks like we've got a glowy up here, so let's go examine that glowy. See what we find. Gentle breeze rustles the leaves of the Guardian Tree as the antiquated stone vessel sits unmoving underneath. Nevertheless, you cannot help but feel a shiver up your spine. Let's open it. Oh, we've got a cutscene. This may turn awkward. Shoot. Like I said, may turn awkward. Ah, you have freed me. Much appreciated indeed. But where are my manners? Whisper at your service. I'm a yokai, a supernatural being. I know, you are wondering why I was in that spooky stone capsule. I was floating along, taking in the scenery, when night fell and I lost sight of the path. I wondered until I came across a small boy and asked him how to return the bent branch. But that self-righteous horned child declared me an unnatural presence in the forest and locked me away. Oh, I was so horribly cramped. Why would he do such a thing to an innocent visitor of his lands? I never said I was an evil supernatural being. I was defenseless, I tell you, utterly defenseless. I'm wary, vulnerable. So unfortunately, we were not able to accept it, so which means we've incurred a penalty for now, which just means that if we keep doing that within a certain time frame, it'll take us longer to get them. Anyway, I happen to come from a tribe of yokai who know how to reward their liberators properly, and therefore I have a gift to bestow upon you, my new corporeal friend. Here. An impressive device is called a yokai watch. It will allow you to encounter other supernatural beings like myself. With that on your wrist, the mundane will become magnificent. Oh, the unbelievable things you'll see with that watch. If it weren't broken. Now, do not think I would give my savior a watch entirely beyond repair. It's just that I had not found someone worthy enough for a long time. My friend had been meaning to take a look at it, but... And they're looking for you. Yes, that's him, alright. He sent you to rescue me? Splendid, splendid. So he was waiting for me at the gold saucer, was he? Had I not gotten lost and put in this my precarious position, I surely would have set off for the desert at once. Let's depart without delay, and if you give the watch to him when we arrive, I am sure he will repair it for you, and then it will allow you to encounter unbelievable beings like myself. Alright. Let us try this again, maybe? Maybe? Oh my gosh, of all the timing. Let's go back to the gold saucer real quick. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to this, and let's just deal with this before we start trying to queue again. Whisper explained everything that transpired. What luck you were able to find my friend. Had you not, I would have never known he had been sealed inside that vessel. You have my sincerest gratitude. You told me you have something to show me as well? Yeah. Why he couldn't give it to you himself? I don't know, but... I see, so he decided to give you the yokai watch. A broken yokai watch, rather. However, there's no need to worry. Whatever my spirited companion did to it appears to be completely repairable. Wait a moment while I get out my tools. Yes, I see. Unjam the slot, set the hand back a couple of ticks, polish up the face, and... Success! Your watch is now in excellent shape. Go on, take it. And a bargain is a bargain, yes? You wish to know more about mysterious minions, yes? I'm certain Whisper mentioned the yokai to you. I brought a handful of these supernatural beings with me from my homeland. Like Whisper, this feisty feline is also a yokai, but from a different tribe. Some yokai grew up to be quite friendly once they get to know you. Others, however, are mischievous and to blame for otherwise inexplicable happenings. If you wish, I can introduce you to the more affable ones I've brought. Should the yokai warm up to you, they become stalwart allies who you can summon to fight at your command. Well, at the gold saucer anyway. But there is a slight caveat. I cannot accept a Rorzian currency for my services. I primarily deal in yokai metals. I'm feeling generous since you helped me retrieve Whisper, so I'll give you one for free. To obtain more, well, that's where your yokai watch will come in handy. Should you chance upon certain fateful happenings, put the watch on your wrist and you shall be rewarded for your meritorious deeds. In addition to the yokai, I also brought other wares which may interest an adventurer like you. Exotic weapons, specifically designed by the foreign artisans of my company. We accept legendary metals as payment for these weapons. Here, should our weapons suit your taste, this yokai medallion will prove useful in explaining where you can obtain the necessary legendary metals for each weapon. A bit of an inconvenience, I know, but I would be a terrible businessman if I simply gave our wares away for free. Whisper's long-windedness is starting to rub off on me. Feel free to speak with me about the yokai or the weapons at your leisure. I still have a few loose ends to tie up here at the gold saucer, so I trust that I won't be wandering for a while. Oh, and my real name is Nohi. Yes, Nohi. Yeah, glad to finally make your acquaintance. Yokai medals are a symbol of entering a sacred bond, more than a friendship, more than a marriage. With the yokai watch, you'll be able to gain those medals. I told you that it would allow you to encounter unbelievable beings, didn't I? You did. You did. So that completes the initial quest for the yokai watch event. So we can now obtain yokai medals by completing fates will equip the yokai watch. It can be found in basically a ton of the areas. Legendary medals can be attained, albeit at a low probability. Participating in fates at areas designated in the yokai medallion will accompanied by the yokai minion designated on the medal. The yokai medallion can be accessed from the collection menu or the minion guide. So, we get an achievement for that, a little bit of experience, and now we have to wait for him to load again. So I would like to grab at least the one. I can, like the one that's relevant to my class, maybe? There you are. Alright, so we want to look at purchase weapons. We're looking for the fifth, so we want the USA peon. So, like I said, we got one for free, and the first one costs 1. The rest costs 3, but we can get the 1. So let's go ahead and get this 1 minion. Let's get you acquainted then. Meet your new friend, USA peon. I hope you two will get along well. Or you hope you two will get along. And that also gives us achievements. So there is an achievement for every single one. You don't have to have the jobs to get the thing. You can simply do that. And also, if we go into Lux Duty, collection there. Is that what I look for? Yes, collection. Like, alright, so we want... Hold on. I need to actually use the item so it can be in here. There it is. So we'll want to do... If we want to get the legendary medals, we'll want to do phase in these particular areas. So let's go ahead and just summon our new buddy. So that'll just kind of happen, I guess, as we go. But for now, I'm going to get out of the gold saucer because this place is actually super, super laggy. I'm going to actually head to Camp Drybone and see if I can't try and work on getting towards that Pugilist quest. And also, I guess at this point, I may as well try again on that queue in the next part and also do Copperbell Mines. Had to be in a cutscene right when it came up. So, thank you so much for watching. In the next part, we'll do Copperbell, we'll do those leaves for level 25. And I'll try and get to the Pugilist quest. Try. So, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and or subscribe. If you really enjoyed it, consider supporting the channel. All support greatly helps her keep being content like this. You can find the links for that in the description, along with links to me on social media. So thank you again for watching, and until next time, this is rinimt, signing out.